Hey guys, Lockhart QT here, and VAE VICTIS has finally launched. This was a ambitious custom zombies map project by a bunch of great people. By the way, credit on screen right now. All of these people attributed to this map in some way, shape or form, so please check out the map on the Steam Workshop as well as their individual accounts if you're interested there. And all of these people got together and said we weren't satisfied with the Tug the Toad ending for Victus, because at the end of the day, in both Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 4, Victus got absolutely shafted in terms of their story, because they essentially got used as pawns and then just chucked into the dark ether, where Treyarch don't really seem interested in exploring that story any further. So a lot of people got together and wanted to create a custom zombies map where you actually play as Victus in the dark ether, and this map is fantastic. And today I'll be going over the good, the bad and the ugly, sort of talking about this map. But before I go any further, please bear in mind that this is a custom zombies map project that is free. I mean, okay, technically it's not free because you need to own Black Ops 3 on PC on Steam, but if you go to the Steam Workshop, this this custom zombies map is free, meaning that you don't have to pay for it, so please bear that in mind any further. Also, the fact that obviously this map was made by a small team, it wasn't made by a sort of billion-dollar corporation like Activision, Blizzard and Treyarch, so I think that this map puts sort of those studios to shame, and I'll explain why now. So let's start off by going through the good. Firstly, this map has an actual story and good writing. It has a really good story that not only ties into Vanguard Zombies but Cold War's story as well. And if you are a bit confused on the gameplay of what the map actually is, well, it's Outbreak from Cold War set in the dark ether. This map is excellent nostalgia because it's essentially similar to Revelations, and it's basically, this map is what a lot of people wanted in terms of sort of fan fiction territory, in where the story for Victus would go into the dark ether, because this map is essentially a Outbreak map sort of set in the dark ether that takes popular landmarks from old zombies maps such as Buried, Transit, Die Rise, Call of the Dead, Tag the Totem, Nuketown Zombies, etc., and basically chucks them into a blender and puts them in a massive Outbreak Zombies map. And what I love about this map as well is the attention to detail, because it's not just purely in the dark ether and a load of locations have been chucked in there. No, this map has had love and craft and effort put into it, because not only do you have stuff from Cold War, like all the floating jellyfish and these sort of ghost plants that you can see on the floor, but like I said, you've got popular locations such as the Dragon Sign from Die Rise, you've got the Bus Depot and Diner from Transit, you've got the Tug the Totem Lighthouse from Call of the Dead as well, and Nuketown Zombies, pretty much Camp Edward from Alpha Omega in its entirety, which is really cool. And this map is on the same level as Treyarch in my opinion. Okay, there are quite a few bugs and issues and glitches, and I'll get to that in a moment, but please bear in mind, like I said, this was made by a relatively small team compared to the large team that you would see from Treyarch. And a map like this really puts Treyarch to shame, especially with what's going on currently with Treyarch and Activision with zombies. And in my opinion, obviously we'll have to wait and see how it pans out and if certain things get fixed over time, but this may be the best custom zombies effort of all time in terms of a small team making a custom zombies map. Not only does this map have original voice acting, where basically we have all of these new characters that are called Artemis, which are different sort of robotic characters that are helping you essentially get back to the Ether storyline, which obviously you can't really, but I'll get onto that later. And not only that, but we have actual voice acting from Victus taken from Transit, Die Rise, Buried and Tag the Totem and Blackout and put into this map, because unfortunately they couldn't get the original voice actors for the Victus crew to come back for obvious reasons, but they actually sliced up voice clips from those maps and put them into VAE VICTIS to sort of best suit the situation, which is in my opinion the best alternate arrangement, because if you can't get the original voice actors, you've got to use what Treyarch have already done and recorded with the past maps, and it's not just like randomly put in either. Some of these quotes really actually fit what is going on, and it's almost as if they're talking to these new characters. Next up, you have wonder weapons. So we have the jet gun, the scavenger, and various other wonder weapons such as the Wunderwaffe reworked into this map, and they are really good for traversal. Like for example, the scavenger and the jet gun you can use to actually explore the map, which is really cool in my opinion. Next up, this map has a main Easter egg quest with, and are you ready for this, a final ending cutscene, which in my opinion in a Custom Zombies map is fantastic. There's not many Custom Zombies map with an actual end cutscene that has been filmed and edited with actual voice acting, which is really nice to see. Not only this, not only that, in terms of the main quest, really, this map has loads of side little Easter eggs as well. You can do for like free perks, weapons, and all that good stuff, really. And lastly, the good, we have weapons from Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, as well as I really liked the fact that obviously you have the nostalgia with the popular landmarks, that, and you have Ted from Transit and the actual transit bus being a safe haven, which is kind of a meme in of itself, but I really liked that personally. And lastly, before we go on to the bad, I just wanted to say the overall attention to detail, like I said, with things like the jellyfish, the ghost plants, the crystals from the dark ether, and then a load of stuff from the ether storyline. Like for example, there's actually the main facility, the Broken Arrow facility that Maxis has from the comics, the VICTUS comics, which I think was a nice touch, as well as, you know, things from Dire Eyes, Buried, Transit, Tog to Toten, Alpha Omega, etc. Okay, now we're talking about the bad. Well, starting off with, this map doesn't really fix all of the problems that we had in Cold War's Outbreak. Once you've effectively done everything, other than doing the Easter egg and little side Easter eggs here and there, once you've done everything, there's not really much to do, and there's sort of no point to sort of carry on. And there's no exfil system. As of playing it right now, I haven't found an exfil system. If there is, tell me in the comments below, because obviously this is more of a day one review as well. But yeah, I haven't really found an exfil system, so once you've done everything, you kind of just have to either die or end the game. Performance issues. So I had a really big performance issue to the point where it was unplayable. I had to turn all of my graphics down to basically low just in order to play the map. But however, after uninstalling, reinstalling this map, it essentially fixed itself, which was nice to have. And obviously there were quite a lot of bugs on this map, but like I said, it's a small team working on this, and it's a free Custom Zombies map, so they get a pass in my opinion, and they probably will be fixed over time. Speaking of bugs and glitches, I had zombies spawning outside of the map and outside of walls and inside of objects, meaning that for example, the one where you need to blow up the, I forget what they're called, but you basically have to gain C4 from zombies to blow up certain points on the map for objectives, and the zombies carrying the C4 needed to complete this step were spawning inside of objects, meaning that I couldn't really do a whole lot. Next up is the point system. In my opinion, the point system here is really weird. In my opinion, you don't get enough points, especially with the amount of zombies around you. I think it should be more similar to how the point system works in Black Ops 3 already. That, and sometimes if you kill certain zombies, you actually have points taken away from you, which in my opinion feels very counterintuitive. Next up, the actual weapons. Guns at times feel very underpowered, and even when they're fully upgraded and pack-a-punched, sort of on the higher rounds, the higher instances, so to speak, because obviously it's Outbreak, so it's not a proper round-based experience. The weapons, especially the bullet weapons, feel really underpowered, and I think a few of the assault rifles and SMGs and shotguns and stuff should get a buff, and hopefully the developers can get that done. Next up is traversal. Now this was a problem in Outbreak, however this was fixed a little bit by the fact that you had, like, for example, flingers and vehicles. However, vehicles just aren't present on this map, and I think this map really could have done with vehicles, because the traversal between locations can be really slow at times. Now obviously it's a bit faster if you've got things like flinger grenades or the scavenger, the jet gun for example, but if you don't have these things, especially early on, it's just very boring to just walk between locations again and again, even with stamina. Lastly, the ugly. These are the sort of worst issues on the map and my biggest sort of gripes and talking points of this video. Thankfully there aren't actually that many. So in terms of map glitches, as I mentioned earlier, there were quite a few. Obviously it's day one essentially still for the map releasing, so it's a small team and it's a free custom zombies map, so it gets a pass for a lot of these things in my opinion. Obviously there's quite a few performance issues, there's crashes people are reporting. I haven't had any crashes as of sort of, you know, recording this video. I haven't had a single crash. But for me, one big issue that I'm having is falling out of the map, as well as clipping into things like rocks and the floor. So where you have things like tarmac on the road, and then you go to the sort of more deserty, dark ether environment, sometimes you'll clip into the floor. And I've actually had one instance where I was outside the lighthouse, and I just clipped into the floor and I couldn't move at all, meaning that the zombies just surrounded me and killed me. I've also had a few instances where I've actually managed to walk through walls and again become trapped inside of buildings that are not accessible, meaning that I had to end the game because I physically couldn't get out of those buildings, and sometimes I was actually hit by a death barrier. And one big complaint that I had that I think it's weird because this isn't actually present in Outbreak, and I don't know if this is just a Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies thing, and the fact that they couldn't really work around it so they had to include it, but there's not really much time to breathe in between sort of, because in Outbreak obviously you're doing the main objectives and you've got zombies around the map, but the problem I have with VAE VICTIS is zombies are spawning constantly, meaning that you're always on the move, always doing things, which sounds good on paper, but when, for example, when I first played the map, I just sort of wanted to explore. I wanted to look at all the different locations, sort of get a feel for the map, and just look at all the nice Easter eggs and just basically stand in awe of how good this map looks, especially the skybox is fantastic. But unfortunately I just couldn't do that because I had zombies spawning constantly. And even on the first wave, the first sort of Outbreak round, zombies had super sprinters, meaning that I couldn't just, you know, walk around even with zombies spawning in. I had to constantly be sprinting and sort of strafing and sliding and jumping to avoid zombies, and I had to buy jug and stamina up and quick revive quite quickly. And yes, you can, if you go to the, like I said, if you go to the transit bus, you do have a bit of a safe haven. Zombies cannot enter the transit bus, they'll just die instantly, which is great. It gives you, you know, a bit of a bit of breathing room and a bit of a safe haven, a bit of a sanctuary for you. But it's the transit bus, it's a tiny little area, and I was kind of hoping that potentially zombies would only spawn at certain locations like they do in Outbreak, and you can actually just explore the more empty areas of the map you can just explore. I think that'd be a lot better in my opinion. And that's it. That's been the good, the bad and the ugly. I guess in conclusion, I'd like to say this is a really good map, and I'd like to take my hat off to the developers of this map. I thought it was fantastic start to finish. I've actually seen, although as of recording this I haven't attempted the main Easter egg yet, just because I haven't had time to play it and, you know, look into it, but in my opinion, the main Easter egg looks really good, especially the fact that it's got a boss fight as well as an ending cutscene, which obviously I'm not going to spoil in this video. You guys can, if you want to go on YouTube and find out for yourselves, it's there. This map overall is fantastic, and it really shows what the zombies community can do both creatively and physically, because this is essentially a group of fans and a fan base and a community saying to Treyarch, look, this is what we want, we'll do it. Fine, we'll do it. We'll create it then. I mean, you've got other creators who are making Transit, Die Rise and Buried remastered because Treyarch just can't do it. They're just not, for whatever reason, making those maps. And we are like the zombies community for the past 6 years have been begging for these maps to be remastered in some capacity, and unfortunately we're just not getting them. So it's nice to have map creators like this actually going in, putting in the time and effort to create a really good experience. Overall, the map is really good. At the minute, it's just plagued by loads of technical issues and bugs and glitches. However, going through the sort of Steam page and in the discussion forums with the actual developers, they have essentially said that they are going in to fix certain things that with the actual map makers pointing out things that they're already aware of, that they're already working on, which is nice. So hopefully we'll get sort of different patches for this map, and hopefully they can get all of that sorted. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell me in the comments below, have you played VAE VICTIS and what do you think about it? Because in my opinion this is the most anticipated custom zombies map of all time. I think the only thing that will come close to this is probably Transit Remastered and Die Rise and Buried Remastered as well. But I'm excited for all of those, and I'm excited to actually do the Easter egg, which I'll have on the channel, so don't worry about that. Thank you so much for watching, and for more COD Zombies and custom zombies maps and experiences, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!